Hello fellow adventurers, I've been expecting you. So you want to become a dungeon master, or you're so desperate to play D&D that somebody's got to take the mantle, or you're a forever DM who will never have the chance to actually look at your own character sheet again? Maybe that's just me. If you're the latter, you'll probably already know a lot of the stuff that I'm going to say, but feel free to hang around. And also, you have my sympathies. Okay, grab a mahoosive cup of coffee, a shot of adrenaline, whatever floats your boat, and let's get started. Welcome to A Nerdy Guide for D&D. My name is Lily, and I have been DMing for just over a year now, so I'm still pretty new to this. I was that player who absolutely refused to be a dungeon master. Nope. But then I had a crazy moment in the middle of having COVID and decided that, hey, I'm gonna write my own campaign now. I am by no means an expert. This is just my take of what a dungeon master is. Also, LJ covered a short video about what a dungeon master is, so feel free to go and give that a watch if you like. I'm just going to go into a little bit more detail. A dungeon master is the story generator, the referee, the actor, and the lore keeper of the game. Think about your favourite fantasy movies. They've got a huge creative team including the directors, the writers, the sound crew, the set designers, the costume designers, the visual team, and just to name a few. In a way, being a dungeon master, you're doing all of this on your own. When I first decided that I wanted to be a dungeon master, I found it all very overwhelming, but I quickly realised that this was a great outlet for my creativity that I just didn't get to use in real life. I mean, I don't have the patience to sit down and write a full-blown fantasy novel, but I can sit down at my laptop and type out some ideas to make a fun session for my friends. And so my obsession with storytelling, world building, lore creating kind of all spiraled from there. Someone once said being a dungeon master is like you're holding arms full of oranges, and every time you drop one you pick it up and then another one falls out, and you pick that one up and then another one falls out, and so the whole thing kind of spirals from there. And I couldn't agree more. That is exactly what my first session felt like. You were juggling a direction for your game to go in, reacting to what your players want to do, playing various monsters and NPC characters, which are like non-player characters, thinking strategically about how to make combat fun and interesting, doing quick maths all the time. Calculators are my favourite thing when it comes to Dungeons and Dragons. Helping your players understand the rules of the game, and improvising, because I promise you, your players will throw at you something that you did not plan for. It is a lot, but it's also a lot of fun. Dungeons and Dragons is all about collaboration. It isn't about the dungeon master versus the players and only one can win, unless that's what you're into. You will come to the table with a plan about what the game's going to be. But by listening to your players, you're going to take their ideas and be able to give them back something so much better than what you'd originally planned. That way, you and your friends are going to create a totally unique adventure where you help your friends become the heroes or the villains of their story, and you as a DM are going to be guiding them on their way to destiny. So, haven't run away yet? Alright, where do you start? First off, you need to decide if you're going to run a homebrew game, use an existing world, or run a game from a module. Think about what kind of game you want to run. Is it going to be a gritty, post-apocalyptic drama where you're constantly having to spend most of your game time in combat? Or are you going to play a light and shade, roleplay heavy, high fantasy adventure? It is completely up to you and your imagination. So what are some good traits for a dungeon master to have? 1. Creativity. It is so important to be able to come up with constant ideas and storylines to play with in-game. 2. Playfulness. To have fun with your other players and bounce off of their ideas and chuck things at them that you know is going to get a really cool reaction. 3. Patience. I can promise you that your players are going to inevitably spend what feels like 10 minutes of real time in a dining room, searching for secret compartments or doors when you've just put this dining room there to make the castle feel bigger than it actually is. Although that might just be a me thing. 4. Being flexible. I know it's hard because you've put so much of your own time into planning the session, but please try not to be too precious about your game. Allow your players the chance to change things, to make a difference in the world, to tear the world apart if that's really what they want to do. The butterfly effect can be such a useful tool in D&D and can lead to a whole new adventure that you hadn't planned coming back later in game. And number 5, knowledge of the rules. I know it's daunting, but having a decent knowledge of the rules is going to make your life so much easier as a dungeon master. I'm not saying that the dungeon master should know everything, and if you don't, well, you're a bad DM. I still don't know all the rules, and I probably never will. But by having that basic knowledge of the mechanics of the game is going to make you so much more relaxed and be able to focus on the actual storyline and what your players are doing in-game. Most importantly, remember that this is meant to be fun for you as well. You're also here to play and make zany memories with your friends. So please don't put too much pressure on yourself. I mean, I'm going to be the first person to put my hand up and say, yeah, I've fallen into that trap and it only leads to burnout. But the more passionate you are about your game, it's just going to bleed out of you as you play and infect your players. My most proudest moment as a DM was when my players got so invested in the game that I'd written for them that they started coming up with their own conspiracy theories. So take your time, do your research, figure out what will be fun for you and fun for your players, and I promise you, you are going to have a great time escaping reality together. It's D&D for you and me, and I will see you anon, adventurers.